Hello, boys and ghouls. Welcome to episode 128 of Dads from the Crypt, Tales from the Crypt podcast. Formerly Tales from the Crypt podcast.
Yeah, so are we still technically a Tales from the Crypt podcast? I mean,
Tales from the Crypt in our hearts.
Yeah, 120 of our back episodes are all mainly Tales from the Crypt. So
yeah, no, I think, and as we saw in our fabulous interview with Joe Lynch, we'll still be doing like Tales related, content, as we can. Anyone that wants to talk Tales from the Crypt, we'll talk to them. Obviously there's nothing quite new happening, but if anyone wants to talk about their favorite episodes, yada yada yada, I want to make that like kind of an ongoing thing.
Ooh.
But tonight we have a very special guest. His name is Levi. Welcome.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Hey, you were on the previous episode. I can't remember because I have a shitty memory, but you were on, was it Stared in Horror? I feel like that was it.
I was on the Monkey's Paw episode, and then the William Friedkin episode.
Oh, on the Dead Man's Chest?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Cool. Well, why don't you tell us about yourself and about your latest project?
Okay, so my name's Levi. I'm based out of Fayetteville, Arkansas. So my brother and I saved up for years to buy a very expensive camera, one that we saw that the original couple who made Lights Out was using for their shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And we set a goal, and we met that goal during the pandemic. And once we had the camera, we started developing sort of a team of people that we knew and trusted from our college days. They were all film students or theater students at the University of Central Arkansas or the University of Arkansas here in Fayetteville. And we reached out to them and asked if they'd be serious in helping us make a handful of projects. And surprisingly, they all were. And so we started writing scripts, and I came to my group with a couple of scripts, and they said yes, and I was shocked, but we went forward with it, and we just released on YouTube our latest film called Madness Within. It's under Nowhere Now Productions on YouTube. It's also under Nowhere Now Productions on Instagram. And this is our third short film. Only one other one is available right now. The second one is about to do the festival circuit, so we can't put it on YouTube yet. So we're excited for people to watch that. It did a festival circuit. It was nominated for Best Horror Short at the Texas Short Film Festival.
Oh, that's awesome.
The new one, or your newest one?
Yeah, the new one.
Nice.
Yeah, Madness Within. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So sorry. We're in pre-production on our next one as well, so we're keeping the ball rolling.
No, I haven't seen the other two. But are these part of like some sort of shared story universe type of thing?
No, because I'm a big Stephen King Lovecraft nerd. They all take place in the same town,
Right.
but they are not related hardly in any way, shape, or form, other than they take place in the same town. So
nice.
Yeah. No, I mean, Madness Within was really good. I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of our listeners also listen to Bloody Good Horror, and I know Eric talked about it as well. But I really enjoy a good short film. I think the barrier to entry can be low, so you get a lot of crummy ones. But like when they're curated, I really enjoy that. I used to go to a film festival when I was up in Portland for the Undead Film Festival, and they would have like 3 2-hour blocks. The first 2 hours was always short films, and then they play like 2 movies. And I usually almost always enjoy the short films section because it's just so surprising, and there's so much creativity you can get through. So I really love a good short film like that, and I really enjoyed yours. It looks great. However much you put on that camera, it looks really, really professional, and it's shot and edited well. Like, sometimes you see projects and you can tell that they're still kind of figuring it out, but this looked way more professional.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, together we've made, if you count everybody that's involved, we've been involved with hundreds of films. So we know what we're doing. Our cinematographer is an Emmy Award winner.
Oh, wow.
His name's Eric White. So, but he's based out of Little Rock, but we all, we all meet in the middle somewhere, and work it out. And usually we only have a weekend to shoot. So that, time crunch really breeds creativity in an
Mm.
interesting way. And so that's also fun. Well, we
Like,
really enjoy
like if you showed me the main scene in that and told me it was a part of a network TV show, I'd be like, okay, I want to see the
it.
rest of
Yeah,
that show.
yeah. Thanks. That's awesome. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
I
glad
like
you
the
like it. I
short.
mean, that's cool.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list. I have it saved in my watch later queue on YouTube. I've just been really busy with work, and Jason keeps us busy, right,
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Jason?
cool. No worries.
But I'll definitely watch it. I love short film because I think you get especially I've noticed lately there are some movies I've seen, full-length movies, that I always think at the end this would be better as part of an anthology or better as a short because they had a really great idea and they stretched it
Hmm.
so thin to try to get that runtime out of it. Whereas I love kind of the compactness of a really good short film where it's just constantly hitting you. I mean, granted, the good ones will still breathe, and so it gives you a chance to breathe and all that. But it seems like when you have a great idea and can compact it into that time frame, some
Right.
good stuff comes out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
When a filmmaker has the freedom to make it as short or as long as they feel like
Yeah.
they need to.
yeah. It's I mean, a lot of our favorite, y'all know this. A lot of our favorite directors got started doing short
Mhm.
films. Um,
Or
I
anthology
don't.
films, yeah.
Yeah, or anthology films. It's a quick way to get a mood across, a feeling across, to kind of show that you know what you're doing, or you can play a lot more. I feel like you can get away with a lot more, I guess strange, playful things with a short film, and especially in our favorite genre, the horror genre. So
Mhm.
I look at it almost like a demo in
Yeah.
music. Whereas I don't know how major labels do things nowadays, but back in the day, you had to make a demo and send it off to
mhm.
label. And that was kind of, I think short film sometimes it can be great. I mean, but some of those demos are fantastic. And I think that's a thing with short film. You brought up Lights Out, and that was a
Mhm.
short film those guys did, a labor of love that turned into a studio saw it and was like, let's give these guys money to make to flesh their idea out. So
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I like the short film
Yeah,
format.
actually, we're about to get into it. That the episode that we're going to review tonight, they actually optioned to be a film, and they were trying for like a long time.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I read that actually. There was a way longer version of the script. So.
and actually,
Mhm.
they just announced that another episode of Black Mirror is going to be made into a whole new series itself. So, yeah, it's very fertile ground.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
All right. So again, remind people where they can find it, where they can, what's it called on YouTube?
Um, the film's called Madness Within. You can go to Nowhere Now Productions on YouTube, and you'll find our first ever short film on there. You'll find the trailer for Madness Within, and you'll find Madness Within.
Nice.
The other film's called Flight, Flight.
Nice. All right. Well, good luck with that on the film circuit.
Thanks.
Tonight, we are talking about Black Mirror, Season 1, Episode 3, The Entire History of You. It was released on December 18th, 2011. Unfortunately, Jodie cannot be with us tonight, so I get the pleasure of doing the plot synopsis.
Hmm.
And I'm reading it off of IMDb, so we'll see how this goes. All right. Lawyer Liam attends a performance appraisal. Antagonizing over it, he repeatedly watches the, quote, redo on his grain, which is an implant which records footage from his eyes and ears. Arriving at a dinner party for his wife, I'm just going to call her Fionn. Is that correct? The spelling is a little unique. We'll call her
Yeah.
Fionn. And so Fionn and her friends. He finds Fionn laughing with Jonas. Throughout dinner, Liam scrutinizes Fionn's reactions to Jonas, whose engagement recently ended. Another guest talks about how she lacks a grain after being gouged. An attacker cut into her skin behind her right ear to steal her memories. Improper removal of the grain can lead the victim to blindness. Liam invites Jonas to his and Fiona's house, but then remembers that how late it is, and Jonas leaves. Fionn invites the babysitter, Gina, who was looking after their daughter, to sleep upstairs. Liam asked Fionn about Jonas, and she identifies him as a brief paramour from Marrakesh. She says they dated for a month, but Liam shows a memory of her saying that she dated Mr. Marrakesh for a week. The discussion becomes heated, and Fionn references Liam's former obsession over another man, Dan, and Liam calls Fiona a bitch. They reconcile and have sex while watching memories of their past sexual encounters. Afterwards, Liam goes downstairs and drinks copiously while watching redos of the dinner party. When Gina awakens, Liam asks for her opinion on the memories. Embarrassed, Fiona gets Gina to leave. Liam interrogates Fiona further. She now says that her relationship with Jonas lasted 6 months. Liam drives to Jonas's house, ignoring his car's warnings that drunkenness invalidates his insurance. Jonas is unhappy to see him acting aggressively. Liam refuses to leave and hits Jonas in a tussle. Hallam, the girl who had her grain forcibly removed, had apparently spent the night with him, and she calls the police. Liam wakes in his car, which has crashed into a tree, and replays his memories.
Yeah, real quick, the piece they left out there was kind of important to the plot is that he threatens to kill him with the broken bottle and makes him erase the memories that he had of that the
Yes.
fling he had with his wife.
Yeah. Okay, so after crashing his car, Liam replays the memories of the night before. Okay. So it says that now. Assaulting Jonas, he made him delete recorded memories. Yada yada yada. Liam spots Jonas's memory of Fiona in bed. He asks Fiona about it. She lies at every step until Liam presses her further. After Liam left home over an argument about Dan, Fiona had drunken sex with Jonas around the time that their daughter was conceived. Aggressively, Liam demands she replace the memory, and she does. Later, in the empty house, Liam rewatches memory of Fiona and his daughter. He uses a razor blade and tweezers to remove his grain, and the screen cuts to black as he pulls it out. All right.
Dum, dum, dum.
Levi, you're our guest. You can start us off. What did you think?
Yeah, I really liked this. I remember first watching this, like, God, it was like 10 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And really loving the first season of Black Mirror. Like, hadn't really seen anything like it. Kind of, right off the bat reminded me of Twilight Zone, but way darker. But this particular episode's really tragic. Um, in in a way that's like you see couples around you that you can tell are not on good terms, and it's kind of hard to watch. This kind of felt that way. It's really intimate. The performances are great. It's weird how in this society everyone sucks basically. There's no privacy. And everyone's just kind of cool with that, even for like job interviews, and the 911 call really got me when she said, I don't have a chip, so I can't send you the recording, and they just hang up on her. So it shows you, it just shows you how like twisted this society is and how obsessive everyone is. And of course that's commentary on society today, even 10 years ago. And yeah, I just found it sort of tragic. Um, uh, it's got this Hitchcock feel where there's a bomb under the table, and we all know it. We can all tell. There's little signs throughout that Fionn has definitely slept with Jonas, and they were together probably for a while, and probably still have a thing. So as the audience, what's probably coming, and the inevitable is going to come, and it sort of feels like fate when that happens. And I love horror that does that. You kind of, the protagonist is trying to avoid their certain fate, and in the long run, all of their attempts to avoid it are futile. So yeah, I really like the episode. The only thing I wouldn't like is I didn't know who to root for because they all suck. So
Yeah.
that's my only complaint. But I really like this episode a lot. The performances again are great, and the guy who plays Liam has a really punchable face, which works for the character.
He does.
Him and Jonas, I'll say, are very punchable.
They do. They both do. Yeah.
Mondo.
I'm with you on this one, and I think that was the toughest part for me too. Is everyone was pretty terrible, and from the way Liam and Fionn are, the way they interact with each other is not like how two loving people should interact with each other. Like when he and how uncomfortable was it when he called her a bitch and she starts replaying yeah, him calling her a bitch. I'm like, oh, you're never getting over that one, right? And as far as like the social commentary on it, it's, you mentioned it came out over 10 years ago, and it's pretty crazy that we've gone to a point where we're it's like people watch Black Mirror and are trying to steer society in that direction because everyone's on everyone's got a camera, right? You see it, something tragic happened, and it's crazy to me. I think there was a video of like a fire or tidal wave, and someone's like taking their time videotaping it while they're being told to leave. And it's like it's more important to them to get that video and put it on the internet than it is to save their own lives or save the. Nothing pisses me off more than when I see a kid interacting with an animal and the animal like a cat swats the kid, and you hear, and I'm like, a parent is holding the camera. At what point do you say stop that? Because we're so obsessed as a society about getting on the internet, and I'll see things in public and see people recording themselves in public. Like, would you do that if a camera wasn't on you? And I really think we're kind of getting to a point with that where you can buy eyeglasses now that record what you're watching. And that was one of the scariest parts about it, to the fact that like you could have your entire life just in your brain that you could play back at any moments. And if you guys have anxiety like I do, I'd be the guy in bed at 2 a.m. replaying the time I told a teacher I love her in in elementary school. That's what I'd be doing. So that's pretty bad. But this episode overall, it's really uncomfortable and intentionally uncomfortable. It's meant to feel uncomfortable because everyone's probably had that moment in life where they've been to a dinner party or been out with their friends and one of the couple's fighting. And it's just like, why are you guys hanging out with us right now? Like, you go somewhere else, because it's that tension. And there's a really great tense episode. So I was definitely a big fan of this. But like you said, I really wish. And kind of you talked about the foreshadowing. And I love the foreshadowing because as a viewer, I know what's going to happen, but I'm still hoping that I'm wrong. I'm hoping that like something's redeeming. I'm almost hoping this guy goes off the deep end for all the wrong reasons, but then he goes off the deep end and you find out she was not a good person to him. Potentially, they never resolve whether the daughter was his or not.
Right.
And as a father, that would be utterly heartbreaking to find out this thing you've loved, and not saying like, if I somehow, granted, I know for a fact my daughter's mine because she looks like me and we did 23andMe. So, but I would never say I wouldn't stop loving the child, but it would definitely be like an emotional blow that I don't know if I could recover from, in a positive way. You know what I mean? Like it would definitely. It'd always be in the back of my brain in a negative way. So I felt his pain in all this, but still, one thing I'll say is a dad advice commentary. It's the way these people interact with each other is not how a healthy relationship should work. And I am not the best communicator. It's not the one to talk, but the one thing I don't do is call my wife a name. like the one thing I don't do is call any. I think the minute you start calling your significant other a name or screaming at them, I feel like you've lost control of the situation. And like, it's crazy to me how I'll see people in relationships. And I don't mean to get off the episode here, that'll talk to each other so terribly. I'm thinking, if we're friends, and if you talk to me like that, I wouldn't be your friend anymore.
Right.
So this is a great blueprint on how not to treat people with that Black Mirror element of, man, like this might be where society's going with our surveillance state. As a guy that works in the surveillance industry, it's a surveillance state, dude. Like, if you're eating a sandwich somewhere, someone's watching you, or you're being recorded.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of looking at the 3 episodes of Black Mirror for this first season, it's interesting because the first one is like very near future. Like this is something that we're pretty much at now, from the technology we had in the first episode. The second one was like kind of more of a what if, like kind of like more hard sci-fi scenario. Where this one is like more middle ground, where it's like, I don't think this is a kind of technology like with implants and like the recall stuff that I don't think that'll ever really happen, but it's still within our world. So it's kind of 3 different flavors of I think what Black Mirror does. Yeah, this one is like fascinatingly heartbreaking. I mean, it really brings up like the would you really want to be able to recall memories like that? Like, yeah, if your wife told you to pick up a couple of things from the grocery store and you forgot one of them, it'd be cool to be able to like rewind and see what they said. Or like, you know, you're in a car accident and you need to like prove who was at fault.
Dave Chappelle's problematic, but it reminds me of he did a skit back when he was doing the Chappelle show,
Mhm.
with the stenographer, the courtroom
Yep,
stenographer that would follow
exactly.
you around, and that's what this reminded me of.
I mean, we've all been in the conversations. We're having an argument, and you're like, "Damn it! I wish I had a recording of that." I think there's even like a commercial. I can't remember what it's for, but where they like can throw a challenge flag, and then they get under the hood and they replay the
Oh yeah,
conversation.
yeah,
So like,
yeah.
it's kind of a common thing of like, yeah, it would be nice in certain scenarios. Like even at work, you know, I take screenshots all the time of like conversations or like over like when I'm doing like a testing on stuff. I'll like record it so I can prove that it's either working or that's not working because you know I might tell my IT builder that like, oh, this wasn't working. And they're like, what do you mean it's not working? That's not possible. I'm like, well, here's the video.
Hmm.
So again, that's kind of a thing where you know it's nice to have, but on the other hand, to have it all the time for every single thing is a really might not be as good of a thing. And one of the things, again, reading the IMDb, and I kind of noticed while watching, is that when they start replaying conversations, it's not the same as what we saw as an objective viewer. So it's not that it's recording like a video recorder; it's more accessing memories.
I didn't even
Um,
pick that up. That's good.
so yeah, so even what he's watching isn't completely the truth. I mean, he's watching it's like a memory of a memory. It's like a mirror, black mirror, if you one might say. And even like again, while they're kind of winding down the episode and he's kind of making accusations and things, you're really hoping that like somehow they're going to make it and everything. But then oh no, they go back to their memories, and he's able to prove it again. It's almost like a detective, like obsessively. And it's not that he's not wrong, but he's just so wrapped up in it, and he's just you know he's just pushing himself off a cliff.
I think before even he suspects, like it's at the beginning, it almost feels like his girlfriend's not allowed to have male friends because he's jealous.
Yeah,
That's kind of
Yeah.
how it feels like at the beginning, and then you see that oh well, his accusations against this guy are warranted, but he just doesn't go about it the right way at the beginning to have
yes.
those conversations.
He's obviously toxic in his own way.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
pretty
they're
much
all they're both
all
all
three of the main
toxic.
people here are toxic, in their own different ways, in their own bubbles. But again, yeah, it's I don't know. I don't see this. This might be the best of the three. It's not my favorite, just as like it's just so awkward and kind of hard and cringy, like in like a way that's intentional. Like they're intentionally putting you through it, and I really appreciate that in art. But it's just hard to watch.
Yeah.
Um,
Agreed.
so this is directed by Brian Welsh. He did again a lot of British stuff that I don't recognize. I don't have anything like that's crossed into our stream. Liam, he was in the he's played a lot of monkeys, or he's a lot of monkey related things. He was in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, as Kobo in some other apes movies. He was in Kong Skull Island.
Was he
Um,
Kong?
no.
I'm just
Yeah, he's just a ape actor after that. Jodie Whittaker, you know, she was in Attack the Block, and she was obviously the new Doctor in Doctor Who. And Tom Cullen, who plays Jonas, was a regular on Downton Abbey for a little while. So again, spectacular cast. You know, it's I feel like you really buy into these characters. Um, yeah, it's
I love Attack the Block, by the way.
yeah. Attack the Block is a
Attack the
fantastic
Block is
movie.
great.
I love
That's
that
one of
film.
them. I slept on that one for so long, and then finally
Me
watched it, and
too.
I was so like, why have I not watched this 10 times?
I
It's so
know.
good.
It's so good.
But yeah, I did think it was interesting that the car could tell that he was drunk and invalidated his insurance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so this thing like is part of every aspect of life. That's
Mhm.
you and the fact that you're socially ostracized if you try to escape that is pretty scary, you know.
Right. Or
It's
he's at his
weird.
job. Yeah, he's at his job interview, and they're like, "Well, we're just going to look at your recordings to see how you're
yeah.
doing."
Yeah.
You think about it though, right? There are definitely everyone's probably seen their friend post something on social media and be like, yeah, dude, you need to delete that, because I know employers do go through social media a lot of times and look at people's social media to see the character of the person they're hiring. And the car thing reminded me of insurance companies now want you to install that little device in your car, which is going to save you $40 a month on your car insurance, yet it somehow never does. I refuse to do that because I had a friend of mine that did it and said it beeps every time they think you brake too hard. He goes, he said he was getting to a point where he wasn't braking in time because he had a Pavlovian response to not want to hear that beep.
Is that what?
Oh wow, yeah.
I've never heard of this. What is it?
So, like Progressive does it, where you can get a little device that plugs into your car. I forgot the reader is where they put like a code reader in your car. And it tracks your driving, and they say, "Oh, if you're a great driver, then you can save. We'll give you a cheaper rate." But I think my buddy said, like, over the course of 6 months, they told him at the very end he wasn't a safe enough driver, and they gave him $1 off his 6-month premium. So 15 cents a month, 16 cents a month.
I thought it was like a breathalyzer or something.
No, there are people that have to have those in their cars, though.
Yeah.
If you have to have a breathalyzer in your car, you probably earned it.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a couple DUIs to get that. Like, if you didn't learn after the first one, like, I'm not saying anyone DUIs are good at all, but if you didn't learn after the first one, like, fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, and again, in this universe, you got to imagine that, like, if people are policing themselves and there's that level of surveillance, the state must be beyond. And actually, we see that because he goes to the airport, and there's like a special line for people that will let them look at their redo or whatever the thing is called.
Yeah.
You know, like search to make sure you didn't like interact with any known criminals. I was assuming that's what it was doing, or weren't like there was no objectionable actions in your last 48 hours or whatever it was.
Which that kind of exists with TSA pre-check and global entry now, where you have to do a little interview before they'll put the stamp on you and say, yeah, this person can be a known traveler. They call you a known traveler once you get that. Yeah, I have a number and everything. I have a known traveler number.
Ooh.
I just know, like, as a person with anxiety who was like highly insecure in his teenage years and into my 20s, like, you kind of overplay things in your head. Like sometimes if something happens at work that I wish I didn't do or could have changed, I'll replay that moment for some reason. And so I tried to like look up why that is, and apparently our brain like releases a little bit of dopamine when we get sad or we get upset, and so your brain can actually like be hardwired to want that, and that's you like overplaying the situation over and over in your head, and that this kind of was commentary on that, and that really hit me like in the chest. So
that's interesting. Yeah,
replaying their trauma.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you want to distill this episode down, it's more like how much personal freedom are you willing to give, for that ability to be able to, relive your memories, or like, it's always the question, if you're willing to give up your liberty, do you deserve your liberty? That kind of thing.
Yeah. That's interesting because we do, as a country or society, we do often trade freedom for illusion of security, and I'm not talking about these patriots who want to be patriot assholes that think they're patriots but they're terrible human beings, but there is something to it, right? Whereas, I mean, TSA is a great example of that for 9/11, and they put all these rules in place, and all it does is make the lines longer. It doesn't really stop anybody, right? But people are willing to give away a little bit of freedom for that, whatever it is.
I think it's convenience, really.
It's convenience. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But like, yeah, if you have a smartphone or pretty much any phone now, you have a GPS that's tracking you.
Oh, dude, or an Alexa. Like, remember back in the day, people were like, "Don't bring a microphone in your house because it's going to track you." And now people are nowadays, people are like, "Hey, government spy device, order me dog food."
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, now we like invite it into our homes in every room, and like we pay to be under surveillance.
Believe me, I'm not like calling anybody out on that. I'm just as guilty as everybody else. Like,
it's more of a societal contract we've made that like this is the level that we're all okay with.
Yeah, I'll take a little bit of spying if it means I can order dog food easier. Like, why not?
Yeah, order pizza,
or an Alexa knows I need socks. Like, yeah, come on, man, just give me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, can you even how well could you function without your little device? It's like,
I actually don't have an Alexa. I'm sorry. Actually, or sorry, I shouldn't. I
well, I
shouldn't
mean,
talk.
you have an iPhone or whatever
I
there.
do,
So
and
Yeah,
yeah,
the Siri thing and all that. Yeah.
I know my iPhone's listening to me because the other day I was just telling Kel, I was like, "Hey, man, I keep getting my knees banged up in jujitsu. Maybe I should get a knee brace." And I shit you not. I went on social media and immediately Anaconda knee braces kept popping up, 2 for
Yeah.
$60. And you want
Hate
to know
it.
what?
I
I'm
hate it.
probably gonna, yeah, and I'm probably gonna order them. Like, I'm just gonna
Oh
say that.
yeah, no, they know. They know. It's
well,
ridiculous.
an interesting thing at my job, I have we have a Teams chat, different Teams chat for different groups, and like my immediate, like my mini team that I'm a part of, everyone likes to say, I'm going to lunch. And I just refuse to do that. I don't know. It's like, I don't need to be kept tracked of, or like, if I'm going to lunch like early or late, I'll tell them. But if like, I'm going to lunch at noon, I don't need to announce it. It's
Well,
just,
Mhm.
when I used to work at Apple, our days were so structured, as in because we had appointment system, we had to keep taking customers in and getting computers
right.
fixed and stuff. So if you take your break late or take your lunch late and threw the entire day off, and I didn't realize how much it's a love hate. It's a love hate because
Yeah.
one is usually the schedule makes sure you get your shit in, but it's so
Yeah.
nice in my current job to where like I can just kind of show up in the office whenever I want, leave whenever I want.
Mhm.
They treat you like an adult. It's a nice little thing.
Yeah. So I mean, I try to find a balance of that where I'm not, where if I'm gonna be out of the ordinary, I'll tell them, but like I'm not gonna announce myself I'm going to lunch. I don't know. That just feels weird to me. Or like,
I do, but only because my office is so small. Like if there's so few people there, so if you announce you're going to lunch, so someone else goes to lunch, they know to lock the door. That's the
well,
only
yeah.
reason you're doing it.
But again, when I'm working from home, it doesn't really
Oh yeah, if
matter.
you're working from home, like
Yeah.
I'll tell my wife, hey, I'm gonna go grab some lunch. I'll tell my dogs, hey,
Yeah.
but that's
Or
about it.
if there was some responsibility to it, yeah, of course I would. But I don't need to announce it. Oh, that feels weird. Like people that like turn on their tracking for their spouse on their phone, like GPS, so you can see where your spouse is on their way home.
My wife and I do that, but I don't think there's anything weird about that as long as you're not abusing it. As in, I don't. It's more so like I travel a lot for work, and if it's taking me a long time to get home from the side I'm just from California or something, she likes to be able to just to see that I'm okay. I'm on the road. I'm driving, and it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that just feels weird to just have it's your partner tracking. Like
I think
for me,
it depends, man. It depends. Like I think everyone's situation is going to be a little bit different. So I'm not going to, but my child does it too, because it's one of those things where it's like, if something happens to you, I want to know the last place you were so I can come and start killing people.
jujitsuing them to death.
I'm going to go, yeah, I'm going to fucking sit on my ass and butt scoot towards them and allow them to come into my death trap.
All right. Any final thoughts on this episode? I mean, yeah, go ahead.
it's kind of hard to watch.
Yeah.
Like you guys were saying, but it does stick with you. As soon as I started the episode, I remembered what this was
Mhm.
again. So it definitely sticks with you. Also,
Yeah, like I said, it's probably the most emotionally affecting of the first three, but it's also like the hardest to watch. So, like, I'm okay only watching this like every 10 years. The first one, I think, is just so funny and so like it's just so entertaining.
yeah.
Um, I can watch that much more often. The second one, again, it goes a little bit long for me, but yeah, okay. Let's do our rating out of 5. Levi, what do you give this episode?
I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
I again, it's really solid. This, like these first three, like you said, are kind of like it's like their spectrum of Black Mirror. This is like kind of my favorite spectrum where it's hard to watch, and sort of heartbreaking. That's kind of my favorite.
Yeah.
I um, people know me. I like darker endings. That smack in the face, Saint Maud.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed this. Yeah.
All right, Monda.
I'll go a little bit higher. It's actually my least favorite of the three we've watched, but that by no means is that a bad thing.
Right.
Like you guys both mentioned, it's very uncomfortable to sit through. Well, when I watched it, I don't think I was in the best mental place, and that's also was not probably the best time to watch it because I did not remember this episode at all, and it hit me really, really hard because I was like, ugh, like now I feel even shittier.
Damn.
Yeah, you know what though? I think I watched it though on Sunday, and then the Niners won, so fucking go
Well, there you
Niners.
go.
So it
Did you
made
give
it all
your
better.
Did you give your number?
What's that?
Did you give a number?
Oh no, I did not yet. 4.5.
I'm going
I
to
just
5. I think it's
damn. Is that 3 5s?
no, I was lower on the other one, the second
Okay.
one. I think it's masterfully acted, masterfully directed. It's thought provoking. It makes you feel, gives you all the feels. I might not like how I feel, but it's an honest feeling. It's not cheap. So I think for what it's trying to do, it succeeds, perfectly.
I agree.
So again, it might not be one I go to very often just because it's not enjoyable on the quote enjoyable. But again, it makes you think and it makes you feel, and that's I think what the point of the show is. So so I give the first one a 5. I give this one a 5. I think I gave the last one a 4.5, just because it went a little bit long.
Everyone
Yeah.
should watch this, but don't watch it if like you're sad or you
Going
stubbed
through
your toe.
divorce.
You had a bad
You know,
day.
yeah, you just went through a breakup. Don't. I
It's like
I wouldn't watch it.
have a bowl of ice cream with you.
I'm diabetic, Jason. You trying to kill me?
You can get like Halo, you get like Halo ice cream.
Sometimes. Some of that stuff has a lot of sugar in it, even though it says it doesn't.
That's yeah.
And they use sugar alcohols. You know what those do to your stomach?
Oh yeah.
It's not good.
Can't imagine. No, no, no.
All right, Mondo, give us your song of the day.
Alrighty. So again, this is a very depressing episode, so I have a very depressing song. And it popped in. I was actually just driving home from the gym before we did this. So please, people, don't watch this episode on video because my hair's all fucked up, my face is all fucked up from the gym, and I'm probably I haven't showered yet, so I'm probably getting a staph infection as we speak.
You still got those beautiful eyes, so don't worry about it.
Thank you. I do have the piercing blue eyes.
He does.
A rare Mexican with blue eyes, but I'll take it. You know what's crazy though? My grandfather, my mom, and my daughter all have blue eyes.
Wow. Yeah.
So and apparently that happens a lot. So it's not like that's super uncommon. But I was on the way home from the gym and I just had it on random because I like putting my music on random, and this band popped up and it reminded me of this song, one of my favorite songs, and it's by a band from Germany. It's a one-man project called Cold World. And Levi, you brought up independent filmmaking, and one of the things I love in the short film format with independent film is what I love about the metal music too is when you can have someone who can in their bedroom with their instruments and the recorder create what I think his album's a masterpiece actually. And the band's called Cold World, all one word. The album is called Autumn. And the song is called Womb of Emptiness. And it's definitely black metal, but it's not as harsh as you're probably thinking if you listen to some of the other stuff I picked over the years. It's a very, very melancholic, sad song. And it's one of those songs that I love to death, but I don't want to listen to if I'm in the wrong mindset because it just brings out all the feels. And which is good. That's what sometimes good media does.
Mm-hmm.
So check this band out. I love everything they've done. Like they're one of my favorite bands. Cold World, Autumn song is Womb of Emptiness. And my goal is this week to actually update our playlist. So if you guys are on Apple Music or Spotify, you can find our Dads from the Crypt playlist and follow. And I add everything I can on there. It's probably about 2 months behind, but I'll do my best.
Thank you, Mondo.
You're welcome, Jason.
One thing in the episode we talked about very briefly, but I want to talk about again, might be the only like funny tragic part is when they're having sex and they show it as in they're like you're really into it, really passionate, and then it cuts to the reality that they are having sex, but they're just both kind of lying there and they're both like reliving past sexual experiences together. Like that's funny and sad at the same time.
They don't show us what Fee's seeing, right?
So what?
They don't show us what Fionn is seeing, right? Or do they?
I don't think so.
I don't know. So she could be watching. Yeah, she could be watching it totally.
Right.
I know he's watching her. He's recalling her. She might be recalling. Who knows? But
yeah, that was dark to me. So I didn't know if I had skipped something or what. But yeah.
So, Jason thought it was funny, and Levi's that was fucked up, dude. Like, why do you think that's funny?
Yeah.
In a dark way, but it's like
absolutely.
What are the fucked up ways people would use this technology?
Every week we learn so much more about Jason. It's just
Hey, All right. Joey's not here for horror news, but two things I do want to point out is that the sequel to 28 Days Later and 28 Months Later is looks like it's in production now. It's gonna be called 28 Years Later, and Cillian Murphy is on as a producer. He may star in it. They haven't said anything about that yet, but I freaking love 20 Days Later. I like 20 Months Later quite a bit, but the first one I thought is a amazing movie.
I've never seen either of them.
Really?
When
man.
I rented 28 Days Later back in the day from Netflix, back when you had to get your DVDs mailed in. You know, I was an early adopter of Netflix. I should have fucking bought stock. Like, I'd be retired now.
Mondo, your assignment is to watch 28 Days Later. Report back.
No, it's on my list for sure. What it is in the beginning, the shaky cam. Like, I don't like shaky cam, and I know everyone tells me once you get past that, it gets better. Now I probably appreciate it more, but at the time I turned it off because of the shaky cam. I'm not gonna lie, but
yeah, no, I totally understand that.
I definitely know it's not an issue with the film; it's an issue with me and my brain. So
okay,
I need to watch it again.
Give it a try because I think it's probably.
Oh, I will. It's definitely been on my list, and our good friend Whitney does the Horror challenge to watch a new horror movie every week with a theme. So I'm trying to pick a week where that's going to fit in.
Yeah. All right, we'll report
Not
back
this week.
This week is Hammer Horror, and I'm super excited because shout out to our fun Aunt Whitney. And I was gonna watch Dracula Rises from the Grave because I've had it forever and haven't watched it, but I can't remember people were talking about. Was it you talking about the Gorgon?
Mm-mm.
No,
I wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't me either. Yeah, but I saw somebody was talking about the Gorgon. It's fantastic.
I've never seen it, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm sold. That's what I'm watching.
All right, and the other one is again, this is more of a tease. It's not quite official, but that they're doing a remake of "Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead."
Okay.
I don't know. I'm kind of into that. Like if you could go. If you get someone like up for the John Waters School of Filmmaking.
Yeah. Can I rant about remakes for a second here real fast? Is that okay? I think that the problem is we keep trying to remake these iconic movies and iconic franchises when there are a lot of movies out there that had a really great idea and terrible execution. That's what we should be remaking.
Yeah, no,
we shouldn't be fucking remaking RoboCop. We shouldn't be remaking Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. We should be remaking Howard the Duck. Like, that's the shit we should be remaking, because I think you can really go a lot of different Like, everyone's seen that movie where they're like, man, if this movie was 30 minutes shorter and did this, and this, it'd be great. And we have an opportunity to do that. So those are the properties we should be remaking.
Well, I totally agree with you. I agree with you. My thinking on this though is that it's actually it might be more beloved for a very select group of for a very select generation. That was kind of a cult hit.
That's the piece though. They're trying to make money off nostalgia.
Right.
As opposed to and I get it, don't get me wrong, because at the end of the day, the film industry is a business. And if you don't make money, you don't keep the lights on. I get it. I'm not knocking that, but I do think there's a whole untapped potential to remake some of these movies again with dude, the amount of shitty Lovecraft movies out there.
Tell me about it, man.
Dude, there's
as a huge Lovecraft nerd, it's slim pickings out there. Like, it really is, you know.
Have you ever seen
got
that
like Stuart Gordon, and that's it, you know, from Roger Corman. But
did you ever see the Call of Cthulhu silent film? That's what I really like. But it's an independent labor of love. That was so I enjoyed it basically what they did with no budget.
Right. That was the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society, I think.
Yes, sir.
That. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And they also did Haunter in the Dark, I think, too.
I have both those on DVD. I think I have that. No, I don't have that. I have the Call of Cthulhu on DVD, and it came with a fake newspaper of what was happening.
So awesome.
Have you seen the meme? It came out a while ago when J.K. Rowling was going through her fucking she's not a good person, and it said something like, Harry Potter fans, can't we just enjoy the media and not think of the author's indiscretions? H.P. Lovecraft fan, nope, you have to live with that.
You got to wear that shame on your shoulders. Oh
I
man.
mean, and I love Lovecraft because that was one of Lovecraft and Stephen King are my introductions into horror fiction.
Yeah.
But it's funny when when you get older and realize how much of a xenophobe he was, and you read some of his stuff. It's all about the unknowing horror, and it's like, oh, it all kind of ties in together. But it makes for great content. But yeah, there's just so much good. There's so many good.
So
Give
many. Yeah.
right now. If I ever become a billionaire, I'm just gonna call Guillermo del Toro, and be like, let's make fucking the Mountains of Madness.
Dude, do it.
Do it.
Oh my God. The concept photos for that were incredible. I don't know if you saw
Dude,
that. Like last year, they finally released like
yeah.
the concept
Yeah.
art. It
Oh,
was incredible. Oh my God.
I almost wish
Ugh.
it never got released because
Me
that made
too. It just made it
more.
worse. I was like, there it is. It's right there. It's right there.
We
Oh
talked about
man.
it before. One of my favorite Lovecraft it's not even an adaptation. It's inspired by is the latest Batman. It was a Batman graphic novel and then turned into a film, The Doom Over Gotham, which
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was really cool too. I thought that was awesome. Yeah, I love that the Lovecraft's reach like just keeps exceeding where I mean, if he knew how popular he was going to end up being, like he died poor, and there's a podcast called Voluminous. That's the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society's podcast
Oh
where
wow.
they read his letters and then talk about them.
Mm.
And so you get really a lot of his personality. And what's funny is like none of his circle thought the way he did. Every one of them would like call him out on his xenophobic tendencies. And like you get to a point where you're reading his stuff and you're like, come on, Howard. Like seriously, like he's he's so like open-minded when it came to cosmicism, but so short-sighted when it came to the human experience, and so but he wrote some really great stuff that's undeniable. So
I mean, I hope I don't. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in an afterlife. But if there is a sorry, Jason. But if there is an afterlife, I'm gonna hunt down H.P.
Sure.
Lovecraft, and all I want him to say is be like, "Dude, I was a jerk. I was wrong."
I was wrong. Yeah, yeah. There's
All
yeah.
right.
I want the H.P. Lovecraft redemption arc in my afterlife.
Mm.
Me too. Somebody make that graphic novel or something. Like,
There we go.
There's there's a book by an author, Edward Lee, who does a lot. He's funny. He does a lot of heavy splatter, splatter, gore. He's one of the few authors that has made my stomach turn. Like with some of the terms he uses, I'm like, oh, that's gross. He does
Mhm.
something called Lucifer's Lottery, where it's every year one person in the world gets to go to hell. And if they choose to accept what they're given the life of luxury in hell, the palace with everything, and the tour guide is H.P. Lovecraft.
Okay.
And Edward
oh
Lee,
wow.
and Edward Lee is also a huge H.P. Lovecraft nerd.
Nice.
So it
Wow.
was really well done the way they did it. And he even did a book, and it was a book with him, Jack Ketchum, who passed away a few years ago, my favorite authors of all time, and I think Brian Keene. I can't remember the third one, but they were given just like this is your writing prompt and go from there. And I won't spoil it because I think if you like Lovecraft, I'll send it to you if you want to read it.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah.
It's fantastic, but it out of nowhere shifts into Lovecraft territory to where it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it again. It was so good.
Okay. Yeah. Send that to me, man.
And
All
as
I'm
right.
gross as
interested.
Edward Lee is, man, he is a good writer. And in some of his books, he almost does the M. Night Shyamalan thing where you can tell a character is based off himself, where he's talking
Oh
shit
yeah.
about literary,
King
but not
King
to the
does
self.
that too.
Yeah,
Uh,
not to the self-masturbatory point of M. Night Shyamalan, but that's
Yeah.
another hold on. That's another podcast.
yeah, I'm not gonna let's go off on a Shyamalan tangent. All right. Speaking of other unknowable horrors, we're going to talk about the terms the kids are using these days in our Out of Touch Dad segment. Last weekend, my wife went. She chaperoned a trip with teenagers, so she was inundated in their culture, and she came back with a term I've never heard of called "it's giving," where like it's giving sadness. So you can say this episode while you're watching it. It's giving sadness, or it's giving vibes.
Okay.
She said,
Well, okay, yeah.
like you know, they're going to breakfast, like it's giving hunger. Like,
Dude, it sounds so dirty. I'm not gonna lie.
It
I
kind
don't,
of does. Like,
we
yeah,
don't know
it
what
really.
we don't know what it is, but
I mean, cap sounds dirty, but
yeah.
I don't
All right.
know. But yeah.
I think it's just like a
Wow.
way. It's like, was it Newspeak? It's like the next version of Newspeak, where it's just like an even shorter hand way to say something in fewer words.
Well, Jason, you start us off. What do you think this means?
Like as I'm saying, it's like just like a shorthand. It's just like I'm not even going to say what the subject is. I'm just going to say it's giving.
Is it like my thought would be? I've heard the term. It gives off these vibes. Like I fucking hate when people have signs that say "good vibes only." It's like fuck you. Like people can be upset if they want to be upset. So I look at it as like that, like giving. Like well, I don't know. That shirt is giving. That shirt is giving off good vibes. That shirt is giving off.
But you don't
whatever.
say. You don't see the thing. You just say it's giving vibes. You don't say that shirt is.
Well, that's what you just said though. You just said though that shirt is giving.
Well, no,
Isn't that
I'm
what you
saying
said?
when you talk, you could look at a shirt and then say to that person, "It's giving vibe."
Okay, I'm super fucking like I'm old. I'm super confused.
I know.
And Jason's in his 50s and he knows this better than I do apparently.
Why are you perpetuating this?
Oh,
myth?
because
I'm like,
I started with it and we're just gonna keep rolling with
yeah.
it.
Somehow I've aged 7 years in the last couple weeks.
I used to off topic. I used to work with this guy. His name was Guy when I worked at Kmart when I was 16, and Guy was like in his 30s but looked old as fuck. He would tell people he was 60 just so they'd be like, "You look good for 60."
Mono, just
I
because
know
I've
those
had, like,
dudes.
Mono, just because I've had like a toenail removed and a filling in like the 2 weeks since my last birthday does not mean I'm 50 already.
Hey man, I had my first ever once I hit 40, and then I got diabetes. So don't fucking tell me about this shit.
Man, dude.
So use giving in a sentence one more time, Jason, so I can make sure I know what I'm talking about.
So it's usually like, okay, after watching this episode, I could go on the podcast and say it's giving sadness.
Yeah, so it's giving blank. It's giving off this vibe or this.
We don't say what it is. You just say it's giving.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. So I had the idea right, but the terminology wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Levi, you have it pulled up, so
I couldn't ever go to a high school.
Hold up.
Like
Here we go. Let's see.
what does the internet say of this?
Let's see. Sorry. Boing. The internet says giving is used to describe someone or something's appearance, aura, or vibe. Over time, the phrase "it's giving" became more popular and is now used in mainstream slang to describe a situation or experience that is particularly intense, dramatic, or over the top. That's what the internet says.
Does it give like an example?
Look, I could say the Sylvester Stallone film "Over the Top" was giving.
No.
Okay.
You're not supposed to say what it is that's giving. You're supposed to say. I know it's like mind bending.
What is language anymore?
What are words?
Yeah, there's not a sentence where it's not used right here or anything like that. But
It's giving frustration.
Right. This is totally giving frustration.
No,
that would probably be the way to do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was
another one on Urban
David,
Dictionary because I can't get off. I don't understand this. So what I hate about Urban Dictionary is the first definition of this came out. Oh, sorry, I thought it was 2011. I was like, what the fuck is it? This we're that old? It's giving. Only bad bitches use this slang. It almost has the same sense than periodita, or for the baddest out here, per. What the fuck? I have no idea. I know these words. Used in a sentence, and I don't even want to call this a sentence. It says, "Bestie tells a story," and then you respond with "per." It's giving pretty much UGG vibes. What the fuck?
Yeah, man.
Levi, like you're in your 20s as the youngest person on this podcast. What is happening?
I'm 30. Well, I'm 36. So I
okay.
I turned. No. When I was in my 20s, I was insecure. That was,
Wait,
was a while ago now.
are you just
Mono's
telling us
officially
you're
the worst
36 so you can
joke
be
of
like, holy
age.
shit, you look good for 36?
But, I mean, people tell me, I don't know. I think that the trick is to still be a kid at heart. Is
Wait,
how I
so
still look at. No, I turned 37 Friday actually. So
happy birthday.
yeah.
37
Thanks,
in a
man.
row? In a
Yeah,
row?
37.
37 years in a row. Yeah, yeah.
Happy birthday,
Can't believe
man.
I
Happy
made it.
birthday.
Thanks,
Levi,
Hey,
brother.
like,
Levi, do you get that reference?
No, I
37.
don't actually.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
all right,
Yeah, you're,
I'm
you
gonna read
are.
this. I'm gonna read the second definition that was a week before the first definition, which makes more sense to my brain. And it says used to define an action that's really unique or amazing. Like when you're impressed with something you do. And the sentence is, does something to impress, if you do something to impress somebody, like let's say you juggle, and the person says, oh, that's giving.
Hmm.
I guess I don't know. Like it's, man, like I'm not gonna knock, because I'm sure our fucking parents,
Oh, yeah.
not my parents, they're too busy on drugs, but most parents probably hated our lingo when we were growing up. So it's, just,
It's
I
pitching.
don't want to be old man yelling at clouds here. I do
But
that
what I've
enough.
learned tonight is that Mono thought I was 50 and he thought Levi was 20, so you're a terrible judge of
I
age.
don't think you're 50, Jason. I know you're in your 50s. Like it's, Levi earlier mentioned his 20s, and I was like, oh, sounds about right. Like he looks good. You look great for your age. You're turning 37. Like keep doing
Thanks,
that.
guys. I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah.
All
Meanwhile, I
right.
walk around looking like a crusty old fuck. What are you gonna do?
You look great, Mondo.
Hey,
It's
dude,
those blue eyes, man. Yeah, I'm
I'm
telling
just
you.
saying, if you want to be pretty, don't do jujitsu because man, my face gets fucked up. Like I have gi burn all on the side of my face, and it's brutal. Like
Oh
fucking
man.
almost a black eye there. It's all good.
All right. Let's go into our Patreon pits. Okay. I asked the question, would you want to be able to remember every moment of your life?
Fuck
In
no.
what ways would that be a good thing? And also, one thing we didn't mention in the episode is that the baby also has one of these implanted. So they could like rewatch everything that happened with the babysitter. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
that was,
ethical.
yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that when these people suck. But yeah.
All right. Our Patreon and friend Janet said, I'm the kind of person that dwells on most of my bad memories anyways. I don't think I'd notice a difference. And then our good friend Alyssa said, I have too many traumas, no thanks. Yeah, like again, I think it'd be cool to be able to recall certain things that happened. Like, you see a rainbow or something unexpected. It'd be really cool to be able to have that memory, or
But
but
imagine
to
you
have
like
every
shit.
single but to have
You
every single memory at your disposal would be infuriating.
imagine you shit your pants on the bus on a field trip when you're like 7, and that's all you can think about before you go to bed. Like fuck that. Like I'm okay
The
having a
rest of
terrible
your
memory.
life.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
but it also begs the question, like, for traumatic events, we're already reliving it, like in our own brains and our different,
I
and
mean,
memories change and everything over time, but we're still kind of like redoing them.
the one advantage with the one positive thing I would say is like as someone also deals with anxiety and deals with depression, is I think sometimes your brain turns something into a
Mm-hmm.
bigger deal than it is, and it's just the reality of it, right? I think that would be maybe the positive is being able to, if you did go through therapy, being able to maybe look at that memory with your therapist and dissect it in a very positive manner. That might be one of the things, but the one thing in this episode though is they could erase their memories.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
thing, like I'd be erasing that. For the record, I did not shit my pants on a field trip in '07, but if I did, I'd be erasing that fucking memory. Maybe I did and I erased it. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things about implanting memories. Yeah, memory's a weird thing, man. It's a weird thing. All right, and that brings us to dad advice.
I think this whole episode is dad advice, right?
It's like talk to your partner, but like in a respectful, calm way, and like try to have empathy towards your partner. Like try to see things from their point of view and like be appropriate. Yeah, like he does. Like every decision he makes is pretty much the example of what not to do.
Jason says this, but allow me to read a message from Jason. Hey, dickhead, is that fucking episode coming out today or what? Question mark. Sad face. Oh, it would have been better if I had my phone up for effect. Like, no, I'm just pretending to read my phone. I'm just kidding.
But
That's just how 50-year-old people talk to us younger.
yes, exactly. You're all a bunch of dickheads, jackasses.
Oh, man.
Wait, Mondo, are you gonna reenact?
For you.
Are you gonna react to 37 scene for Levi from Clerks?
Am I going to? We could reenact it. Who do you want to be in the scene?
Okay, I can be Veronica if you find the script.
Oh, it's from Clerks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should know this. I don't though. I have to admit
Well, Jason, how many dicks have you sucked
that.
37
in a row?
Y'all.
Oh,
Hey, it's okay because Randall put it in perspective for me. He said at least he wasn't 38.
I mean, speaking of memories, I think when we enjoy movies, memories have so much to do with it. You know, how we're feeling at the moment, how it made us feel. I remember the first time I saw Clerks, I was really pissed off about something. I was having like an angsty teenager day. I went to my friend's house. I was just in a really shitty mood. He's like, "Oh yeah, I got this movie. You should watch it called Clerks." I'm like, "Whatever, fuck it." And I don't think I ever laughed so hard in my life.
Clerks came out in what, 93?
I don't know, 94, 93, somewhere around there.
So you're already in your 20s. You weren't a teenager.
God damn it. Actually, I have I haven't really talked about this. I posted about a friend, not a friend, but I traded someone a thing for who's like a friend of Kevin Smith or like associated with one of his many, many podcasts. And he sent me a autographed copy of Clerks that Kevin Smith signed.
Oh, that's pretty badass.
That's cool.
Did you see the new DVD or Blu-ray or 4K box set that came out with Clerks? And the box set is actually shaped like fucking the Quick Stop.
Yeah, that's
pretty
awesome.
badass.
That's cool.
Now we're really dating ourselves with our adoration of Clerks.
Kevin Smith. We do need to have a Kevin Smith spinoff.
No.
No. Yeah, I every time I do watch it, I'm like, okay, it's not.
Dude,
it's a little rougher than I remember.
Yeah, but you want to know what though? Again, he wrote that when he was young, right?
Yeah.
And the damning stuff of Kevin Smith is that fucking segment he did for that Holidays film, and yoga hosers
or whatever.
Yeah.
But especially now, he's just doing what he wants and he's having fun, and I can appreciate that.
And dude's lost like 200 pounds, man. Good for him.
Yeah.
And good for, well, ironic, good on Jason Mewes too for and getting clean. And there's actually he's in a really cool movie called Method to the Madness, where he's trying to be a method actor, and he's going to all these people, and for some reason he meets Dean Cain. From Superman fame at a restaurant, and Dean Cain's in a full like disguise. He's like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Everyone always recognizes me." He's like, "No one knows who you are anymore. You're Dean Cain."
Was he like? Did he do like a
it's surprisingly really good. What's that?
Can you do like a country album or something afterwards?
Dean Cain? I have no fucking idea. Why would I know that? I mean, that does seem like something I would know, but I don't think so.
If you did a country urban metal album, you would know about it.
Country urban metal? What the
like folk metal is what I meant to say.
You're just making stuff up now.
Yeah. That's what we do when you're 50s. You make shit up.
Well, hold on. Dean Cain, country singer. Actor Dean Cain, former fiance. He was married to Mindy McCready, who's a country music singer.
Okay, maybe that's why. There was something in there. All right. Well, I think that wraps up another episode. Levi, thank you for joining us. Tell people where they can find you. Remind them of the name of your short film on YouTube.
The name is Madness Within. You can find it at Nowhere Now Productions on YouTube. We're also Nowhere Now Productions on Instagram. If you're interested in donating to future projects, we would include you as a producer in the credits. Just hit us up on our Instagram for that. Also, I have a podcast called Well Adjusted Horror. We're also on Instagram, Threads, X, and Blue Sky as well. So.
Oh, and I totally forgot I put a thing on our Instagram asking for dad advice questions.
Oh, dude,
Let
no
me-
more. I looked at that, man. I'm disappointed
No,
in
we
our
had a couple.
listeners.
We have a
Did
couple.
we? I totally
Yeah.
just missed it. I might have just missed it.
All right.
Well, quick, rapid fire
Let's
these
see,
fuckers off.
We got two. Okay. NPW Ilver says, "How do you housebreak a strong-willed, high-energy little monster?" She's also a huge fan of Crypt Keeper and asks to watch Tales from the Crypt Keeper every night and wants to listen to the Crypt Keeper jam every time you're in the
Dude.
car. I say, don't. Keep doing what you're doing.
Wait, hold on a
Yeah.
second. Housebreak. What does
What?
housebreak mean? Like, does a kid like just walk around and pee on the floor? Like, I'm confused.
I think whatever you're doing, you're doing it well. So
Yeah.
keep
I
it
know
going.
he said housebreak. Though. I think he means like, how do you potty train? I don't know.
Yeah.
I got lucky, man. I have one kid, and when she was little and we first showed her the potty, she's like, "Cool, I'm just doing this now." She hated having a wet diaper, so it was easy. I had no
You're
idea.
like, okay.
Dude,
we
my
tried.
child was so easy. It's like, why the fuck would I ever have a second one? The first one was so easy.
That's awesome.
We tried to do like this cold turkey thing, where you just you like pick a weekend and then like you just don't really go anywhere. You just kind of stay in the house, and then whenever they tell you have to go potty, you immediately take them to the bathroom. It didn't go well. It was kind of a nightmare. It was like
That was
Stockholm
pretty much
syndrome.
my first weekend when they put me on metformin. I was like, I couldn't leave the house 'cause I might, at any moment. I was like, I have 30 seconds to get to the bathroom.
I say just let them watch more Tales from the Crypt. It'll fix whatever's wrong. Any issue with your kids, Tales from the Crypt will do it for you, or Tales from the Crypt Keeper.
I think it's cool. I think it's really cool that she likes the Crypt Keeper and likes the Tales from the Crypt. That's pretty awesome. Like I think it's really endearing when especially like obviously if you listen to us, you're probably a horror fan. I think it's really cool though when the kids just pick up on that and kind of fall in love with it.
Yeah. All right, and then I Heart Blood and Guts says, "How do you act when they are just outright foul, little soulless, mean, little angry, nasty at you? Like De Niro,
I
like
think
De
you
Niro
gotta-
and Capone. I want you to get this fuck where he breathes. I want you to find this Nancy boy, Elliot Ness. I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want his house burned to the ground. I want to go there in the middle of the night, and I want to piss on his ashes.
What?
Vile towards you. By the way, I have a beautiful 3-year-old princess."
All right, you're I Heart Blood and Guts. You are my hero. I would say what you should start doing is going to therapy. that was fucking brutal, dude. Like, damn. But I respect it.
Well, here's the thing: kids are savages. They'll give no fucks. They'll say and do whatever they want, whenever they want. They are pure ego, and they don't know any better. And it fucking sucks sometimes.
I don't know, dude. My kid's 21, man. So we have cool conversation. Like we went out to a bar. I took her out to dinner the weeks my wife was out of town, and she was actually upset they didn't card her at the bar when she ordered the drink.
Nice.
So it's a little bit different, but man, when they're that young, they're gonna be a pain in the ass, and it's cool. Like I look back on those days fondly, and like even the stuff where I was like, if I didn't love you right now, I would burn this entire fucking house to the ground. I look back on those very fondly, and with a lot of nostalgia for them. Because man, enjoy these moments. They don't last forever.
Yeah. So your kid goes, "Where did all your hair go?"
Valid question. Where did it go, Jason?
I tell him it fell into my face.
You just can't see the
You're
back of my head where it's starting to go. But
Oh boy. All
at
right.
least I had long hair, I could hide it more, but I couldn't deal with long. No offense, I couldn't deal with the long hair anymore. Mine is almost down to my ass at one point, and then when I started doing jujitsu, I had to tie it up in a big bun. So eventually, it was always getting like pieces torn out. So I was like, just cut it all off.
Oh,
This is the longest I've had mine for a long time. So yeah, it's
legit,
getting
I like it.
annoying, but I like it. Thanks, guys.
The shitty part about long hair, and any of our female listeners can relate to this, is that you have to like plan when you're gonna wash it, because if you know you're going someplace and you're gonna get like. I went to Korean barbecue the other day, and like I had to burn I almost had to burn my shirt afterwards. And I love Korean barbecue, but it smelled like smoke, and your hair picks up all of that. So you have to be like, oh, well, Wednesday
yeah.
I'm going to Korean barbecue, so I have to wash my hair on Wednesday. But you can't wash it every day because it dries it out when it's long.
Yeah.
I don't have that
No,
problem
yeah,
anymore.
you're supposed to have like I've read so many different ways to do it, whatever, but I do know that like washing it with shampoo every day is terrible for it. So yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people are like, don't use shampoo at all. Some people are like, use this, and yeah, it's different for everyone, I guess.
I've
But
never heard don't use shampoo at all because like how else? How do Jason? What's your hair
man,
care
well, but
routine?
yeah.
What?
He ignored it. He just fucking ignored that question.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, there's people I've read that people are like shampoo's a scam. It damages your hair. You should just run water through it. And I'm like, that
No,
can't be good. That can't be
no,
good.
I'm
But
more at this point. I'm more about scalp maintenance.
Yeah. Yeah, I get a flaky scalp, so I'm a Head and Shoulders guy.
Yeah.
And you
For
would
sure,
think I
yeah.
didn't have dandruff because it works.
it does work. Yeah.
Okay.
You wake
All
over
right.
there, Jason, while you're getting tired.
Yeah, no, I was trying to. One of the kids said something to my wife that was like really funny, but like in a mean way. I'm trying to like figure it out, so I'm trying to text with her to figure out what it is.
Are you willing to say what they said to her?
No, if I could remember, but I'm trying to text her and we're not. She can't remember what it is either. But it was fun.
If I'll leave you with one fun quip is years ago, and this is probably 2010 or so. My daughter was young, like 10 years old or so, or 11 or 12. I don't remember because I raised a cynic. I really did. I'm sorry, child. But when I came home one day and my wife and daughter were watching MasterChef Junior. And so I sat down for a minute. I'm like, you're 11, 12, whatever. How come you can't cook like that? And she looks at me and she goes, you're in your 30s. How come you can't cook like that? I was like, you fucking got me. Like, I was like, I laughed so hard. I was like, touche. Like, I'm raising you right.
You're welcome.
Is that a moment as a father when you know your child is at the point where they can cut back at you really quickly and get you? Like, is that like a moment where you're almost proud,
No, you're definitely proud. You're definitely proud. Like, there's definitely some things that there's some lines you can cross. Don't get me wrong. My child has never crossed a line, but like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
but like, I'm sure, like, no offense, Jason, but I'm sure like if your child gave you shit about your baldness, like that'd be a line you probably shouldn't cross. Not that you can't. Though, is there's some cutting things. It's pretty proud. Now we just joke about we probably joke way too much about suicide. I'm just saying that. So it's escalated over the years.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as much of this episode is giving fun, it's time to wrap up. Next week, I don't know entirely sure what we're gonna do. Me and Mondo need to talk about that. So Mondo, stay on for a few minutes.
Jason's tired. It's past his bedtime. He needs the nursing home has to give him his warm milk and medication.
It's way past my bedtime. So
I need to be up for the early bird special.
Levi, thank you so much for coming on, man. I know dude, right now it's 11:30 where you're at. That's way past my bedtime.
Yeah, dude. It's like 2.5 hours past my bedtime, but that's okay, dude. I would totally do this again for you guys. Thanks again for having me.
Dude, thank you so much, man. It was great.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
We appreciate everyone for listening. We would appreciate it if you would give us a rating or review on iTunes, a rating on Spotify. Check out our YouTube for videos of these podcasts. And check us out on the TikToks under Dads from the Crypt Talk. And with that, we thank you for listening to Dads from the Crypt.
Adios.
Goodbye.
Dads from the Crypt Talk.
Follow Dads from the Crypt on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or I will follow you to the grave. No, seriously, you really should watch. But be careful what you ask for. You may get it.